back to Conversations with Chris
and Crystal.
It's time for another Quarterly Life Reflections.
There we go. Yay. Yes. And, we can review our words for the year. Mm-hmm. Mine is peace, and yours is?
Mine has really morphed around. I think
it was meekness last time.
It's still meekness.
It's morphed. Oh, it is still meekness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still meekness. And I've been learning a lot. And, I'm glad that this is my word, whether I like it or not.
Because it was given to you for a purpose. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. So what's our first question?
What is our greatest lesson learned this quarter?
Okay. I think last time I talked about overeating, mm-hmm. and I've had an affirmation for a lifestyle change, and I went up this past couple of months. I went up to Minnesota and was with the family, and my sister is quite an inspiration for a lifestyle change. It's all Whole Foods. It's all So she and her husband both run marathons, and they're in their 50s, and they continue to do all this stuff. And so that was an inspiration. And then a friend of mine who has been diagnosed with cancer, who's dealing with it naturally, has completely changed her eating. No more pizzas, no more Starbucks, and all that kind of stuff. So it's happened for me. I started eating more whole foods. I have not given up pizza. I don't do Starbucks. I did find out that a coffee that I have is actually not coffee. It's coffee free. It's made out of chicory. And it's a chocolate mint. It's really good. It's really good. And I didn't realize that, but it's probably better to be coffee free. And so it was I've used it for 12 years and never even knew that.
They do say coffee has some benefit for your heart, but people use it too much.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem. Yeah. So anyway, that was something, lifestyle change. Like I said, I've been using that as an affirmation. I don't know what a lifestyle change looks like. We didn't eat well when I was young. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and it's hard too these days because everything is processed.
Yeah, and even our fruits and vegetables are going downhill. But the idea is go there and at least try to find the best you can.
And you have to live in faith.
Yeah, you do. That nothing will harm you, and that is true. That is very, very true. And but like lifestyle change, I remember years ago we went and had blood work done, my husband and I, and we were going to a nutritionist. And which, by the way, did not help. But anyway, we went to this nutritionist, and I ended up having a nightmare. Sleeping one night, I had this nightmare that I was floating in the house that I grew up in. I went into the kitchen, and I went over to the refrigerator, and I remember seeing things. Everything was like in neon color, and there was a cookie jar I had forgotten we had. It was that.
Wow.
Distinctive, and a bread box I forgot that we had, and I went to the refrigerator and it magically opened by itself, and the sound out of it was the screaming from that movie with Janet Leigh. Was that
Psycho?
Psycho, yeah. And I looked at the refrigerator, and it was packed from side to side, front to back, top to bottom, with junk. That's what we ate. And I started. I remembered back to, oh my gosh, we used to eat that stuff. 70s was full of casseroles with tater tots on top. Oh. I think we've discussed this before, but I'm just trying to get the idea of lifestyle change is really hard to do when you come from that background.
Because that's comfort food, right?
It really is. Casseroles were a big thing. It was full of casseroles. My parents were addicted to Coca-Cola, so we had Coca-Cola, and then when they decided not to be addicted to Coca-Cola from time to time, we went to Kool-Aid.
I think that's worse.
I think it is. And then they were addicted to these brownies that were like this big. They came 6 in a package, and they were at a convenience store that was just a couple blocks away. And my parents would run out in the middle of the night and go get these, with more Coca-Cola and come home.
That's an addiction.
Yeah, that's an addiction. And so, as kids, we just lived on whatever showed up. Mm-hmm. And so, I remember even feeling, I think I was 12 when I told my mom to stop buying Oreos because I was eating them like crazy. It's so cute. My husband goes, see, I would get as many Oreos as I could between this finger and this finger. And I would go, I said, I got one on you there. I had it between my wrist all the way up my arm. And that's what I took into the other room to eat.
I hated the chocolate. I don't even want to call it chocolate because it's not chocolate.
It's not. I don't know what it is.
But
Yeah.
I hated that part. And back in the day, we didn't have the lovely golden Oreos we have today. So I would take those and I would be eating those and saving up the center. So I'd have the nice, delicious center to eat by itself. And one time the dog ate my centers after all that
after all I actually like the Sunshine Hydrox better than the Oreos. But yeah, it was...
Well, Hydrox doesn't have lard in it, and Oreos does. So that might have...
There's an interesting... Yeah, because my girlfriend bought some online. She's got a whole freezer full of them because she just loves them.
I remember back in my 20s that I had this friend who was a vegan, and he was like, oh, I can only eat the Hydrox because they don't have lard, but Oreo does. I said, Oreo has lard?
Yeah. And there I was, 12 years old, and getting... Now, of course, I'm chunky, but... Back then, a little bit of chunky was like a little bit of chunky. And when I quit eating the Oreos, I told Mom, don't buy them anymore. I quit. It went away right away. So it was just back in the day when I could. But that's what I'm trying to understand is how do you do a lifestyle change? Before you get sick, before something bad happens to you and you're forced to do a lifestyle change. That's the other thing. My dad had surgery on his, he had diverticulitis. He had part of his intestines removed. Mm-hmm. Did anybody eat any differently? No, because the doctor doesn't tell you that, the reason you have this is because of what you've been eating. Mm-hmm. So therefore, one would think that you should change what you're eating, right?
You'd think.
I would think. And really, more and more, I think people are starting to become aware that, I know they say is you are what you eat, but it literally, I didn't even know too, certain foods will balance your hormones.
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that. Oh. So see, here we are as a society running to get prescription meds to...
When it could all be taken care of naturally.
It could all be taken care of naturally, yeah. So, do take a look at your diet situation and try to do it before you have to give up pizza. At least me.
Or what else you love.
Oh, yeah. I don't really care. Pizza's, that's it. That's just pizza. Just pizza. So what is your lesson learned?
Don't get comfortable. Don't get too comfortable because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, I was all, I had this job at Cambridge Academy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, it's no big deal that I had to spend all my savings on this car repair and on my tooth because I have this job and I'll start building it back up again. Well, I got too comfortable in that thought. And so it's like rug got yanked out from underneath me. And they hired some guy.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Hired some guy to take my place, and I know he ain't working for free.
Yeah, no. Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Clearly they lied to me.
Yeah.
And so, on the one hand, I'm glad because I didn't have to spend more time there and then find out later that they're liars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But on the other hand, of course, here I am.
Yeah.
Without a job. So
right.
there we are.
There you go. So, our biggest accomplishment, go from that, how do you follow that? What's your biggest accomplishment? You got one?
Yep.
What is it?
Writing my book, In God's Hands.
Yay. Ooh, I love it. Sounds good.
Yeah, in fact, I think that's what God wanted this time off for me to do, is to write that book and get it done.
Excellent. So, what number book is this now? Start adding up, I'm sure.
Well, it depends because there are some that I haven't sold to anybody, so I don't know if I should count those or not because it was like.
Well, you wrote it. You wrote it.
So
yeah, and you did bind it and did all that to it too, right? Yeah. You
okay.
Did. So now mine is we finally chose the Christmas play at church, and we have a cast, and she's in it. I'm directing it. That is. All year long, which there's an extensive amount of music in it that was written by Larnell Harris, and so we are very excited to get that underway, and we're doing it.
Oh, And I just bought a sweater on Temu to go with the red pants. It's a green sweater. It's got
Oh,
can't wait for you to
pretty!
see it.
Yes, yes. Oh, awesome, awesome. So, what's our next category here?
Hardest thing.
What do you already know and want to? Oh, I don't have it here. The hardest thing.
Okay, well, while you're
Hardest
thinking
thing.
about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my hardest thing was actually two hardest things. One was finding out that Cambridge was deceitful, and the other one was even harder, losing my cat Ming Mei. And she died like 3 days after I found out that I didn't have a job
Yeah.
anymore. And that's another thing. I thought maybe the Lord wanted me home with her when she went.
Yes, yes.
And I'll never forget, because Saturday when I found out that I wasn't going to have the job anymore, she came to me and I picked her up and held her and she purred for me and she really comforted me through that. And then that Monday night I told her, I could see she wasn't feeling good at all, and I told her, it's okay, you can go. I'll miss you, but I'll be all right. And that morning when I got up, she was gone.
How old was she?
19.
19. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It is a sad thing, and it's amazing how the pets find that their mission in life is done. It's amazing to me to watch, even with dogs, how I was dog sitting another dog, and the gal who owned her got married, and not long after she got married, that dog developed cancer and died. And I think that you now have somebody else to take care of you. You don't need me anymore, and so they move on. And it's interesting. People don't think about that. The other one is too, when you have older dogs and you move into a new house and they've already have visual issues, but you don't know it because they know everything in your house. Mm-hmm. And when they get to the new house, they pass away because they don't know where to go or how to get around the house. The hardest thing is having pastor come up to me, and she said, she was talking about a position in the church, which it did not come to fruition, which is fine. But her comment was, are you okay with things not working out the way you want them to, or the way you think they should be, or not happening at all? If you have, now, I've been putting this into my head. I told her, I said, well, I did the Christmas play last year, and she said, good point, because that was that point that nothing worked out the way that I was trained to do it. Mm-hmm. I know how to do it, and it never comes out that way. And I even told the Holy Spirit in jest, I think he got it, that I said, I know you're going to work this out. It's all going to come together, and it will not be anything like I want it to be. And I'm going to be mad because of that. But you just, you do have to go with the flow. And that's something I've thought about. If I ever went into ministry, I would have problems giving up perfectionism, and wanting everything to be perfect and wanting everything to look a certain way or do a certain thing. And I think that's where God is taking me is, now it's time to let all of that go. Let all of it go. All of it, Crystal. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. And just walk with Him, and He will direct your path. And yes, you have brains, you have smarts, you have things that you can do, but He will direct that path. The minute you're going right, He'll say, now we're all going left now. And so you just go with it. And it's an interesting path.
So in a way, it's kind of meekness for you too, because meekness means that you don't get easily irritated and not easily provoked or irritated, patient under injuries. So when somebody, says something nasty to you, you're patient.
Yeah, I'm pretty tolerant with that stuff.
Mild of temper.
You just have to be happy not letting things happen. Having them not happen. They're not happening. And what we were talking about too was the secretarial position. Are you okay with things not working out?
Yeah. And in fact, I'm kind of glad that didn't work out for you, because I didn't see that as a good spot.
No. And the lady who stayed, I'm just, so happy for her. I'm glad she's there and it's all wonderful. But it was the thought that, can you work with things not working out? Now, what corporation could you go to and say that to them? And they'd be okay with it as a secretary. If you went somewhere to be an administrative assistant,
And told them that?
yeah, and said, well,
Oh.
sometimes things just don't work out. I mean, you and I know
Oh,
this. We
yeah.
know this. They would kick you out so fast. But that's a God thing. It's really a God thing. Like Jeff says, and men are so different. Women, they expect us to do everything. Men, they can do one thing at a time, and that's fine. They don't care. But Jeff will say, it takes as long as it takes. Now, if we said that in a corporate structure, if somebody came to us and says, hey, when are you going to get that thing done? And you say, well, it takes as long as it takes. Not happening. Not happening.
Well, I like when they used to have those tapes that you transcribe, and you could tell by how much tape was used, how long it was going to take you. And then they ask you, how long is that going to take? And you're like, oh, probably about an hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you got to get it done faster. It's like, I can't.
Yeah, you're transcribing. That's
Yeah.
different. It's not how much tape is on there. It's how much, you have to go back and forth, and type it out and fix all their mistakes. That's the other problem. Yeah, the ones that they didn't make. So that has been my hardest thing. I'm trying to put that into perspective. I'm trying to go with the flow, because again, we're doing the Christmas program, and again, I'm very limited with what I have to work with. We have some more people involved, thank God. They are coming, and that's we have a sound man who came in. I have a friend who is a light man. He's going to come over and take a look at our lighting situation, see if there's something we can do there. What would be the fastest, easiest? Because we have we're just not set up that way, and so. But like I said, I could do these on the garage floor. I mean, I could, but it would be wonderful to have a proscenium stage.
That would be nice.
And a big stage. Well, we've talked about it, and we probably should do a tape on our dream.
Yes.
Yes, we should.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just keep that in mind. Okay, go ahead. Okay, favorite memory.
Oh. My favorite memory was meeting Derek Johnson.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was being a big fangirl about the whole thing. Not to him, but I stayed calm and collected.
Yes, when you talk to him, yes. Oh my
But
God.
inside I was all
Yeah.
so yes. And your favorite
Oh,
memory?
you know what? Actually, that must have been because that was my favorite moment is when Pastor said that to me.
Oh, okay.
Because it was very telling, and it was very, wow. Not only do I need a lifestyle change, I need a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And part of that comes in under, as far as God's concerned, dying to self and letting all of that stuff go.
Yeah.
And you're not as important as you think you are, you are to him, but nobody else.
But you don't know what his plans are, and they may not be the same as your plans.
That's
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
You just got to turn it all over to him, and everything will be as it should be.
Yep. And I think I made that comment before too. People come up to me all the time. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And I found out that it's, according to the Bible, it's to love others and to further the kingdom of God. Whatever it is that you can get to, and people will let you do, and then God will direct your path as He sees that you are able and willing to do for Him. You're willing to get in there and do something and change the world one person at a time. That's what it takes. What you know? Okay, already know and want to improve. The lifestyle change. Yeah, I've got to get my head around that.
Okay. I had on my piano, but I'm not sure that it's the time for that yet.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
What do you want to learn?
What do I want to learn? Oh, I had said that I wanted to read Hemingway. I bought a book. And my usual way of dealing with books is you put it on the shelf, and by osmosis, it happens.
Try putting it under the pillow, and then it might absorb.
Ooh, that's even better. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. I have so many books, and I've never read any of them. Even when I was younger, I had tons of books, and I had a girlfriend that's all she liked to do was read. You go to her house, and through her bedroom, she had stacks of books. And there was a pathway through the stacks of books that were probably up, and I mean, we were 5th and 6th grade, so we were pretty small, and it came up to about your waist. all these stacks of books and all the way through her room. And so she came over to my house and sat in my chair and read most of the books on my shelf in one sitting.
Wow.
She just sat there and read them. Yeah, I was like, who does that? But yeah, so this is my, what I would like to learn. I would like to get some culture. I would like to have, it kind of hit me because I spent my younger years in Key West, and he lived in Key West, and that kind of came home for me. And when I was dealing with my dad's fall and his brain bleed, he was having problems, and there's a temporary form of dementia that happens after surgery or after a fall, after a brain bleed. And they asked him, where do you live? And he said, Key West. So it reminded me of that. And actually he's doing very well now, totally restored, still working on the walking and some of the balancing issues after having 2 brain surgeries, and yay rah. But yeah, so anyway, that's what I wanted to do is it just kind of clicked for me.
Okay.
I want to find out who this guy is, how he writes.
What I would like is I want to get a better movie making program and learn it, because I would like to put more special effects and things in our videos.
Oh yeah, fun. Yeah.
Maybe
that's a good idea.
Maybe be able to use a green screen, because with what I've got now, I can't do that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So,
Okay. All right.
That's what I'd like to do.
Let's see. Goals. Yeah, you know what, a lot of people do this, and I hope I don't do this. Have you ever done that where, somebody does something and you're kind of like, oh boy, I hope I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of mine is, I know I've been trained in customer service, and one of the things in customer service is that you acknowledge people when they talk by repeating back what they said, that you heard it correctly, or saying, yes, I hear what you're saying, depending on if they're auditory or visual. I see what you're saying.
What you mean,
yeah, and I understand. Okay, one of those, you get that from the clues with them. But the one thing that is really hurtful, I think, and I hope I don't do that, is when somebody does say something to you and you go, well, not so much that, it's this. You've just dismissed what they said. For me, it happens. Yeah, I get that.
I guess it depends on the context, because like if you said, oh, you're saying that you feel like blah, 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 and they say, well, not so much that, but I feel like this. But if you're saying...
But you didn't acknowledge what I said.
Okay.
You passed it off. You said, oh, okay, moving on. My mother did that. My mother was worse, though. Hers was, you're not thinking, you got to come over here and look at this. So it's that kind of dismissiveness, and I get it a lot from a lot of different people. They I don't even know half the time if they even heard what I said.
Yeah, that's one thing I hate, is not being heard.
Yes. So you have to, and that's what we were trained to do, was to repeat back what they said so that they know they were heard. And you don't have to repeat everything people say, but you do need to acknowledge, you may be right. However, I would wonder about this.
Okay, I'm going to put that on my note and need to improve, because I think I might need that too.
Well, it is hard because we get so used to doing it, but it's dismissive, and people don't like to be around people who are dismissing them. Why would you? And you wouldn't know why. You wouldn't know why it bothered you. You'd say, I don't like that person, I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
Or something, weird like that.
Or they rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, and it's that simple. It's that little simple thing that we just dismiss people. It's like, okay, whatever. And we were in the with the cast, and one of the young kids in the cast, I was reiterating what the show was about, because I had never really told them. They weren't there. And I said, so I was explaining the premise of the show, and he said, yeah, we know, you don't need to tell us.
Yeah, I thought that was rude.
That was it, and that's it. It's very, very rude. And people do that. I do have, my sister did that to me. She'd say, yes, you already told me that. You already told me that. And what is wrong with hearing the person out again? We're sitting around doing nothing. We're not wasting a lot of time. So why not just, if you heard it before, that's fine. Maybe it's going to go another direction. maybe it's going to connect to something else. You don't know.
Yeah.
So you just wait it out and see where they're going to go with it. And I mean, no, he had every right to tell me that he understood and he knew. And that's all he had to say. But he got really, you know, just panicky about it. You know, like, oh my gosh, she needs to stop talking. Which is, is that? That's what I say about Rocco. Rocco looks at me and goes, does she ever stop talking? He sits with her and looks at me like, oh, can she just down in front? Yeah. When my mother was so negative, I actually felt like I wanted to kill myself. And I didn't know why. But it's because she was always putting me down by not acknowledging, by not, you know, it was always, she had a better idea and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, so it was like your opinion didn't count for
That's right.
anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I find that with most of that side of the family, they still look at me like I'm 5 years old because that's when my parents got divorced. Anybody notice that? Has anybody else run into that? But they do. They look at me like, well, how can you be old enough to know anything, Crystal? It's like, oh my goodness, people. Hello.
Well, it's weird for me too that my nephews are both college age now, and it's just like they can't be. They were just
they were just this high, you know, a day ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know it is. It's crazy. I know I have nieces that are starting college now too, and but I always told, and my brother is very attached to his children, and I said, you know, someday they're going to go. And that's what a lot of people don't get. You raise decent human beings, and they have to go on their own. They have to go. They can't live with you. They have to move on and make this world a better place in some wonderful way. So where were we?
goals.
Goals. Get this Christmas play off the ground. A lot of music. I am not musical. It's hysterical that I'm in charge of a musical
Oh, wow.
of all things. But I got one of the guys at church is very gracious and helpful, and he's actually putting it together so that, you know, they can have charts and work with it and, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So it's coming together. It'll come together. God will make it work out. Like I said, I told him, I know you're going to do this thing. I just won't be happy, but that's okay.
I have 2 goals.
Okay.
One, get a job. And the other one is 11 years ago, I started a book based on a dream that I had.
Okay.
And it's been sitting, and I have started working on it again, but I want to finish it. It's a book about a werewolf. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to say too much until it's done.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever thought about writing a children's book?
I actually did write
Oh, you did?
one.
Okay.
It's called Kids Stuff. It has short stories in it. for
Oh,
kids.
fun.
Not
fun.
not little kids, but
Yeah, medium kids.
but I could write a children's story for little kids.
Yeah. Well, one of my girlfriends has written one, and she introduced us to the lady who's doing the illustrations for it, and I thought, wouldn't it be, because she named one of the characters after me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, and it's animated, of course, and I thought it would be kind of cool if they actually animated it and I could do the voice.
That would be cool.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, because we're doing film work together, so I really should hit her up with that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's a goal.
Okay.
I think we got everything, didn't we?
What you love the most?
I don't have that. Did I? Oh, there it is. Love the most. Oh, yeah, directing the play. Love to direct the play. Love to tell people where to go. That's my job.
What I loved the most was meeting Derek Johnson.
Yay! Woo!
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Because he's tall.
Oh yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah.
Of course, he's younger than me, but
Hey, when has that ever stopped anybody? Right?
he's single
Yep.
and he's a Christian.
Yep. That's what counts. That's what counts.
Yeah.
And a full head of hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
everything on my list of
Yes. Yes.
things that I would want in
yes. There you
a
go.
possible mate. But you know, I'm happy being alone, and I think that might be my path in life, is to continue to be alone, and that's fine. But I have this nice little fangirl crush, so
That's always nice. It's always nice. Yeah. But you never know. You never know where God is going to take you.
yeah.
and that is a point. And so, okay, I've got them all.
That's
All
it.
of our updates.
Yep.
Okay,
Quarterly Life Reflections for
there
the
we go.
third quarter of 2024.
there we go.
Hopefully by the fourth quarter I'll have a job.
Come on.
No, I'm just teasing.
You will.
It's all
You
in
will.
God's hands.
It
so.
is in God's hands, but you will, because if man doesn't work, he doesn't eat, and of course we could teach you to fish, because I think that's in there too, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you teach them how, or that's a
It's not
saying.
in the Bible.
That's a
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
That's a saying. That's right. If you teach them, man. Let's see.
Jesus made them fishers of men.
Men. That's true. That's true. Very true. Okay, so
All right.
with
well,
that,
as we always say,
take care of yourself because nobody else will. Bye for
Bye.
now.